Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing my Demonathon TBR plus a couple of suggestions, hopefully. Anyway, Demonathon is right around the corner and I haven't done my TBR yet, so here we go. So I decided to put an extra challenge upon myself because I will be doing every single prompt because people are going to be doing the hard thing, then I need to do the hard thing because I need to prove that it is okay to do the hard thing. The extra challenge that I put upon myself is I need to read as many physical books that I own as possible because I need to get through all the stuff that I own. And that has been a little bit of a challenge, mostly because this first prompt, which is the Incubus and Succubus, read something with a sex scene or something that is a little bit hot and steamy romantic-like. I apparently have read all of my hot and steamy romances or things with sex scenes in them, so this is the only one that is not a physical book with me, and that is going to be Punk 57. I don't really do smut. Not really, and that's kind of a blind spot in both my reading and my writing, actually. So on Rachel Marie's recommendation that this was quite good and quite smutty, we're going to be doing Punk 57 on audiobook, in which case I fully expect to be mostly on headphones during this time. And I really hope that I enjoy this because I'm ready. I'm ready for the awkward noises that might happen. The next is Yokai, which is read something light and fun. This is going to be definitely light and fun, but it is not small, and that is Gathering of Shadows. I need to return this to the local library that I borrowed this from. It has been in my possession for far too long, but nobody's asked for it yet, so I really enjoyed A Dark Shade of Magic, and I love V.E. Schwab. I've actually read about 50 pages of this. I stopped for some reason. I don't actually know why. It wasn't because I wasn't enjoying the book. I just stopped and never picked it back up. So I'm going to be reading this one probably first because I'm really excited for this book. Next one is Shaytani, which is read something that has falls under multiple genres or is just a weird book or something that is far outside of your comfort zone or something that I wouldn't normally pick up. And for this one, I'm reading Racism Without Racists. Again, this is another something that I borrowed from the local library. Colorblind Racism and the Persistence of Racial Inequality in the United States. That by itself seems to be really interesting. Even though this is the smallest book, I am sort of not looking forward to this because this seems pretty academic. The index is like forever big. So I'm looking forward to enjoying this and to learning about, what this has to say about racism and such and so forth, but because this is going to be more academic and this is not something that I normally strive for or go for, this is probably the thing that I am least looking forward to just from the academic standpoint. I left university and I didn't really want to go back. Yeah, this is my Shaytani book. Next is going to be the Wekufe, which is read a book with secrets and or lies, and that will be The Night Olivia Fell. I got this in one of my Scribbler boxes, actually one of the first Scribbler boxes that I think I got, and I haven't picked it up. It is a thriller. I don't really know what it's about, I just know it's a thriller. This is something that I found out about myself. I really actually enjoy thrillers. This has been a relatively new discovery about my reading and reading habits, but I'm anticipating this will be a pretty fast read despite it being 339 pages. That's a decent sized book. But yeah, I'm anticipating this to be a fast read because I just devour thrillers. The next one is Eudaimones, which is read something inspiring, and this is going to be They Called Us Enemy, which is a graphic novel. The story is by George Takei, and this is something that I have read before, so this will be a reread, and I'm going to be trying to be a little bit more critical about a lot of things about this. The first time I read this, it was literally to just let the story wash over me, and I essentially was on and off crying for about 2 hours, so I'm hoping that I will be significantly less emotional this time around, and I can sort of pick apart this story. It is a very personal story for George Takei. It is his experience as a child going through World War II and the Japanese American internment camps, and this is going to be a very hard read for me. Again, I've told a couple people this before, and it bugs me that students across the rest of the United States do not learn about the Japanese American internment camps because it was huge. Essentially, the entire West Coast was affected by this. I personally know people who were interned, and the people who are survivors of the internment camps are aging out and dying at this point. They were children, to the point where most of that generation who I grew up with, who went to my church, who taught me how to dance, how to play basketball and such, like, they were interned. The internment camps have affected us and are in our cultural consciousness, and we're currently today seeing people who are making decisions about corralling and interning American citizens for no crimes, much like they did in the internment camps, and they're using this as precedent. So I'm getting emotional. This is a very important book, and George Takei has done an amazing job making this a political statement. It is obviously more about his journey through this, but at the end it does turn very political, and it is very inspiring, and I think that everyone should read this. Again, this is a graphic novel, so it's incredibly accessible. I believe this is an inspiring book. So there. The next prompt is Jin, which is read something adventure-filled or action-filled, and that is going to be Storm and Fury. Again, this is another thing that I got in the Scribbler box, and this is about shapeshifters. It's YA fantasy, and that's all I know, and that's all I really need to know, because shapeshifters, I'm so excited. This has been on my shelf for a long time, just sort of staring at me, so I'm finally picking this up. I'm very excited. I've never read anything by Jennifer Armentrout, but yeah, I'm excited. And I think this is my biggest book. No, actually, this is my second biggest book. Yeah, Gathering of Shadows is slightly bigger, but she chonk. I'm happy. And the very last one is going to be The Ravenmocker, which is read something indulgent. And that for me is going to be Harleen by Stephen Sajic? I'm not sure. I'm so sorry. But one of my favorite comic book artists, because things. I will take this out of the plastic, get a better look at this cover, because I'm just it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I got the very last copy of this at the comic book store when I was back in the States. I'm so excited. Like, I was so excited when I got this. I just sort of like stroked it a little bit. And, the artist wrote and made the Sunstone series. If you don't know what that is, it is a BDSM romance comic that actually portrays the kink lifestyle and kink as a relatively good thing. It's almost like a nerdy thing. I really enjoyed Sunstone. I'm really enjoying Mercy, what I have been able to see of it, and so I'm really excited for Harleen. He is an amazing artist. I mean, you can see this cover. Look at this cover. It is amazing. And I've heard nothing but good things about Harleen. This is the first of, I think, 4 books. I haven't gotten around to getting the other ones. I am pretty sure they're all sold out. So I'm very excited to start this. This is also something that is not usually what I do. I'm not a comic book person. I'm not really a graphic novel person anymore, but I really enjoy him and his work, so this is my indulgent read. The second half of this is going to be a few books that, if you're struggling to find things to fill certain prompts, I hope that these will give you some inspiration / you will like them. A couple of these, like the Eudaimones and the Ravenmocker, which is the inspiring and the indulgent reads, these are things that are indulgent to you or inspiring to you. So this is going to be, those are very, very subjective prompts. I don't believe that anyone is going to judge you for, especially your indulgent read. If you believe that this is a guilty pleasure or something that you really, just really enjoy, like, have fun with it. Like, just read what you want. It's fun. So the first one is the Succubus and Incubus, because some people don't want to read all smut all the time, and some people need help with this particular prompt. So I would say anything in the Nevernight series. That has been a very popular series in recent times, and it usually has 1 to 2 sex scenes, but they're very mild. They're pretty tame, all things considered, but they are very passionate, so that would totally cover the prompt. If you are looking for a graphic novel that is a little bit smutty. Apparently Saga, I've only read the first of the series, but Saga usually has, again, 1 to 2 like sex scenes. Again, this would totally cover the prompt. And Saga is really good. It is, I believe, about a pair of star-crossed lovers who are, or were, soldiers on the opposite sides of an interplanetary war. It's sci-fi fantasy, definitely would call it that, and it's, I believe, told from the perspective of their love child, so it's interesting. I like it. Another suggestion that had come up was The Simple Wild. This is a fade to black sort of sex scene or sexy book, so if sex makes you very uncomfortable / shouldn't be old enough to be reading such things, this is probably a very good book for you. I don't know much about the book, but fade to black is fine. It doesn't really matter. 2 more, The Undomestic Goddess and Wallbanger. I don't know much about these, but apparently they do include sex scenes and they are very good books. They come highly recommended. The Shaytani, which is something that you would normally pick up, something that's weird, something that falls under multiple categories. Again, this is sort of a subjective thing. If you don't normally pick up graphic novels, or if you don't normally pick up audiobooks, or if you are a hardcover person and you want to pick up an ebook this time, like, this is fine. Formats are also outside of your comfort zone, or something that you wouldn't normally pick up, so that will 100% cover this particular prompt. But if you are looking for something that is multi-genre, try Into the Drowning Deep. This is sci-fi mermaids. I always say that. It is written in a contemporary time frame. It is definitely very scientific in its look at biology, but at the same time, it is a horror-esque feel. It is the trapped monster in the house kind of deal. It also it has mermaids. It has, sirens type of creatures. So it's technically falling under fantasy as well. So we have a multi-genre book that is incredibly good. It's by Mira Grant. I believe that is the pen name for Shauna McGuire, but I could be wrong about that. Next one is the Wekufe, which is something with secrets or lies. If you are able to handle themes of self-harm, emotional abuse, child abuse, drug abuse, I would definitely say Sharp Objects. Sharp Objects is probably my favorite thriller that I've ever read. It's the thing that really got me into reading thrillers. And again, it's an HBO series, and the HBO series is wonderful. It is so good. So definitely would recommend Sharp Objects. If you are looking for something a little bit more tame on the thriller end, Hunting Annabelle. I got this in a Scribbler box. It is a very fast read. I want to say it's less than 300 pages, and the twist at the end I was not prepared for. It is set in the 80s in Texas, and the protagonist is Korean. There's a little bit going on there. There are themes of promiscuity, drug use, and high threat violence, and of course death, because this is a thriller. But it was very good. It was very fast. It kept me on the edge of my seat, and yeah, it was great. The last thing I'm going to recommend is my book, Always. It is very thin. It's only 32, 34 pages. This definitely has secrets and lies, and it is a romance, it is a graphic novel, and it is available wherever you like to buy your books, in paperback or e-copy. This is now out. I'm very excited to say that it is out. You can go into a store and buy it. It's great. I hope you enjoy this one. I will say, for the eudaimones, there are a couple things that I will suggest if you're finding it hard to be inspired, or you don't know what would be an inspiring book. I would definitely suggest The Art of Asking by Amanda Palmer, especially if you are a fan of Amanda Palmer, or if you are a fan of the Dresden Dolls, or if you just need, or if you're looking for someone who struggles to ask for things or to look at themselves and see themselves as successful. This is a very inspiring book without being prescriptive. This is not a self-help book, which I think some people have said it kind of leans towards. This is not. It is Amanda Palmer's journey to being herself, and it is wonderful. I would have actually put this on my TBR if it weren't for the fact that I was trying to go through all physical books. I don't have that on a physical copy, so there's that. The other speech that I would recommend is actually Amanda Palmer's husband, who is Neil Gaiman, and that is Make Good Art. This was a graduation speech that he did several years ago. Somebody did put it in book form. It is a short read, it's a fast read, but it is inspiring pretty much no matter who you are, what you do, what art you make, what business that you're striving to break into. It does give some advice because he was giving some advice to newly graduated university students, but at the same time he has some really good thought points to give, and it is a very, very inspiring speech. So there's that. And I think that is all that I have for you right now. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below if you haven't already. And if you haven't posted your TBR, please do that. Tag at Demonathon. And if you haven't signed up, please do. You have until the 14th to do so. And then all the reading begins. And I guess I will see you in the next video. All right? Bye.
She said it will never go away. I know there is nothing left to say. Can we try to hold on just for now, even if we don't know how to show them what we're all about?